You came here tonight to find out how to meet your guardian angel. Well, guess what? Your guardian angel already knows you. He or she knows you better than anyone else in the universe. And that's why he or she is your guide, your guardian, and your friend. I am here to tell you that your chief guardian angel is none other than your Holy Christ self. How did we come to call our Holy Christ self our guardian angel? Because in all the 2,000 years since the coming of Jesus Christ, no one has dared to utter the blasphemy of claiming that each one has a Christ presence. This is why I am speaking in a hotel and not in the established churches. This is not the prevailing belief. And therefore, people came to acknowledge that presence, that friend, that guardian, that guide, the Holy Christ self, as their personal angel, and indeed, that Holy Christ self is your personal angel. Your Holy Christ self is your chief guardian angel who directs all of the other guardian angels that the 7 archangels may send to you from time to time. You don't just have one guardian angel, you have many guardian angels. And depending on how much devotion and love you give toward them, and how many times you ask them to go here and there and help this one and that one and give them so many assignments, and these angels will take those assignments and go and fulfill them for you, well, you just may have dozens of guardian angels who are very happy to answer your prayers and help loved ones. So, your chief guardian angel, that Christ presence, is in charge of these angels. And therefore, you begin to understand that there are many angels in your life. You see, your Christ self, whom I just described, is your real self. Please don't think I'm using the term Holy Christ self as merely a Christian term. Jeremiah also prophesied the coming of this angel, of your real self. He called him the Lord our righteousness. And what is the meaning of that term? It means that that Christ presence, your guardian angel, is going to teach you the correct uses of the law. Righteousness means the right use of God's laws. We need to be educated in God's laws to be certain that everything we ask of our angels is lawful. So there are other terms for this real self, the higher consciousness. Christos is the Greek word meaning anointed. And so the Christ presence of Jesus and of us is the one who is anointed with the light of God. We have access to that light when we walk in the footsteps of the Christ. So your Christ self is the real you. It's who you were when God created you in your twin flame out of his white fire body. The original causal body, remember the upper figure in the chart I showed you, is the causal body. It's the body of first cause. There's a causal body in the great central sun, then there's an individual replica of it above us surrounding our I am presence. We'll look at that causal body now. So this causal body above me in the chart behind me is showing you that that is the same pattern of the great sphere of the central sun from which we all came forth. By and by, after eons of experiencing perfection in this great causal body of God, you and I elected by the exercise of free will to depart from that perfection and explore the denser spheres of the matter universe. What happened to us is we couldn't figure out how to get back. And that's why God has sent avatars through the ages to rescue us and show us the way home. So this going out episode is when you and your twin flame began to make karma, specifically negative karma. And the law of karma then caused you to be tied to the realms of imperfection where you made that karma. This is why we are here. This is why we have partial knowledge of who we are and where we have come from. And this is why God has sent to us his angels to remind us, to quicken our ancient memory of who we are and where we came from. So now we are imperfect, and now we see through a glass darkly. We are wearing mortal bodies in place of the immortal bodies we once wore. We are not face to face with our God. We are human in so very many ways, but we are also divine. And it is the divinity in us that does behold God face to face. Who or what is the essence of our divinity? It is our beloved Holy Christ self, who does see God, our mighty I Am Presence, who does reflect that divine image, reflects it back upon our souls so that we might daily start to put on, once again, the image and likeness of God in which we were originally made. Matthew 18:10 and 11 gives Jesus' teaching on the angels beholding the face of the Father. It reads, "Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones, one of these little children. For I say unto you that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. For the Son of Man came to save that which is lost." The guardian angel of each child, yes, who is the Holy Christ self, maintains his gaze upon the Father, Mother, God, represented in the chart as the I Am Presence. Jesus' usage of the term angel is defined in verse 11. He says, "For the Son of Man is come to save that which is lost." That's the closest we get to in the Bible of Jesus revealing that the Son of Man is within each one of us, the Son of Man, the Christ presence, and that Son of Man is come to save our souls which have lost the way. So that is the guardian angel, what has come to be known as the guardian angel, as I said, because church fathers and those who wrote and rewrote the scriptures would not allow them to contain the affirmation of the Christ presence with each one of us. The writers and editors of the New Testament applied the term Son of Man exclusively to Jesus, even though in the Old Testament it is applied to the prophets. But do you know what Jesus is speaking of here? He's talking about the Son of manifestation, the Son who is the manifestation of the I Am Presence. Again, the middle figure in the chart comes forth out of God as God's manifest presence with whom we can walk and talk. As Jesus taught the concept of the Son of Man to his inner circle of disciples, it is none other than the Christ presence of each of us, the Son of Man of each man, woman, or child, the Holy Christ self. It is the Holy Christ self that is being referred to in Scripture each time apparent reference is made to the Son of Man. It is this Son of Man who always beholds the face of the Father, Mother, God, who descended out of God to save the soul which was lost through wandering away from the center of God's being. So giving devotion to God is the way to achieve the bonding of your soul to your real self. It is the way to be restored to your first estate when God created you. How many of us want to get back to where we were when God created us? Isn't it wonderful that we have the memory, we have the desire, we know it's possible. All this is innate in you. I didn't have to tell you all these things tonight. I'm just running the fingers of your mind over an old song you used to play on the piano, and perhaps you forgot a few of the notes. But this we know in our hearts. We somehow have a memory of golden cities of light, of heavenly octaves, of places that are beautiful and that are advanced, and where people have no more war or sorrow or burdens of the economy or so many things that we face. Some early Christians, known as Gnostics, had a unique belief about angels. The Gnostics were members of early Christian sects who believed that they possessed the secret or mystical teachings of Jesus, and I believe they did. A Gnostic was a person who believed that this special knowledge was the way to salvation. Some Gnostic writings teach that the spiritual counterpart of the Gnostic is an angel. The spiritual counterpart of us is an angel. In other words, they also call the Holy Christ self an angel. This angel is your guardian angel, as I've said. The goal of the Gnostic is to become the bride of his angel. The Gnostic teacher, Heracleon, calls the angelic counterpart the husband of the Gnostic. What we understand, even of mystical Catholic tradition, is that the soul is seeking to become the bride of Christ. But this concept is to become the bride of Jesus Christ. Even non-Catholics such as Amy Simple McPherson believed in this. And she had a magazine that she published. It was called Bridal Call. And it was always waiting for the bridegroom to come and take the soul. So this has figured for 2,000 years in Christian thinking. Well, the truth of the matter is that our soul is intended to be wed or bonded to our Christ self, our holy Christ self, because that is who we really are. That's our real self. We achieve this bonding through love in every possible circumstance, withstanding any temptation to anger and so forth. We practice the presence of Christ. We walk in his footsteps. We use the book The Imitation of Christ by Thomas Kempis. And we strive daily to be bonded once again with our Lord. I received a letter from a woman telling me of a cherished experience of oneness with her Holy Christ self. She wrote, "In my 38th year, I had an amazing experience. I was sitting in my living room caring for our newest arrival when suddenly a powerfully uplifting light and radiation began to fill my outer awareness. It continued for several days. I praised and thanked God and asked to understand more perfectly this wonderful blessing. After a few days of this, I suddenly realized that the vibration of this light was that of the Christ consciousness entering my being. I called to my Christ self, and it intensified. I knew that I could now see and feel more clearly what the Christ flame really was and how to better call it forth minute by minute. It became real for me in a much deeper way. Before this point, I hadn't consciously experienced the mantle of my Christ self and did not know what it might feel like. Now, almost every waking moment, I was concentrating on affirming the living Christ within me and calling forth my beloved Holy Christ self. I know there are many steps I need to take in order to anchor this divine experience of oneness with my Holy Christ self. I wanted that relationship that I believe many mystics of the Christian dispensation had with Jesus. Now a door is opening, and I can see a real possibility of my heart bonding to the heart of Christ." Another woman recounts an experience with her guardian angel and Archangel Michael. "I was about 10 or 11 years old," she said. "It was a hot summer day, and my father had just picked up my sister and me from our summer camp, and we were driving home. I was exhausted and sleepy, so sleepy that I thought it would be wonderful to lean my head up against the car door and fall asleep. As I was about to do this, a strange yet beautiful thing happened. I heard a voice. I shall never forget that voice. It was a female voice, firm yet gentle, commanding yet soothing. The voice spoke to me and said, 'No, do not lay down your head. Wait until you get home.' I do not have the words to describe the beauty of this voice nor the depth of this being's care for me. Such is an angel's love.